Hey guys, welcome to week 36 of Books Being Sick. I am Nick. Thanks for being here. I have some stuff to tell you about today that I need to now look up because I've already forgotten what it was. It's, yeah, my life is just pure chaos all the time, always. So, first up, thanks to everybody who joined in on the live that I did just kind of mid last week. Last Wednesday. What day is it today? Sunday? Last Wednesday. I do a live for the Patreon every month. We do it for our book club and also just to have fun and talk about whatever. And I accidentally went live to just everybody. Normally it's unlisted and then only Patreon people can watch it, but I accidentally just went live to everybody. So there was about 4 or 5 times as many people in there as there normally are. And it was actually really, really fun. So thanks to everybody who got in there. That was it was actually a really good time. And now I'm contemplating just doing that every time. I'm trying to figure it out because, whatever. But it was really fun having a lot of people in there. The longest one I've ever done too. I think it was almost about 2 hours long, and it was a really good time the whole way through. So yeah, just thanks for being in there. That was it was good. Reading update. Not really a whole lot to mention in the reading department because I'm reading 2 fairly large books right now, so I'm still going through them. I've mentioned this one 1.5 billion times, but Wizard and Glass is one that I'm still currently reading. This is book 4 in the Dark Tower series. Really enjoying where this story is taking us. I like that I like and don't like that this book is kind of just a complete, look in the past, basically, of Roland's life. We are still with Eddie and everybody at the beginning of the book, but we're now hearing about kind of where Roland has come from, and I think for a lot of people that would be a tough sell because we've gotten so used to the main cast of characters. But if let me assure you, it is highly entertaining, and you're going to fall in love with a lot of these new characters and be totally fascinated with this kind of weird world that is I can't remember the Magis, I think is the name of the town. So yeah, it's been really, really good so far. Also reading East of Eden by Steinbeck. This is the Sick Book Club book this month, and this is everything. So to be honest with you, when I started reading this one, I didn't know what it was about at all. I didn't look it up. I just kind of went in blind. And this is really hard to put down. I'm in a bit of a conundrum because I don't want to put it down, but I also don't want it to end because I really, truly am loving it so much. It is just living up to the hype more than any other book ever has. I think it is, years of people saying this is the best book they've ever read, and it's probably the most common answer for people's favorite book of all time. And so it's kind of gets overhyped and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, I still really want to read it, but however, as it turns out, it really is that good. Holy man, Steinbeck. Imagine looking that cool and writing books like this. That guy had something going on. You know what I mean? That's pretty sweet. I also want to read Travels with Charlie. Someone tagged me in a thing saying that they're reading Travels with Charlie, and a lot of people have since mentioned that one is also really fantastic. So I think I'm just continuing on the Steinbeck train, man, because he has not let me down even in the slightest. I'm only 3 books in, but it's been a fun ride. So that's kind of my reading update. We're getting into spooky season. It is so cold. I hate that spooky season, but it's getting cold, man. It's cold up here right now. I had to actually put on a sweater today to go outside. So, you know what that means. That's got me thinking about horror movies and Halloween and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to share with you my favorite horror movies of all time. I'll give you my top 5, and I'll give you also my favorite one of this year as well. So if you're looking to check out some fun horror movies, maybe check out one of these if you haven't already. So why don't we just dive into that, I suppose. I have my list here. I wrote it down so that I didn't mess up the order. But I love horror movies. When my wife and I first met, we basically spent the majority of our time just watching horror movies. She worked at Blockbuster when I met her, so that was really nice, and her manager at Blockbuster was a big horror fan, and so I guess it kind of depended, Blockbuster to Blockbuster, who the manager was, who was bringing in the movies. Some would have really good horror sections, some would have, almost nothing. The one that my wife Lindsay worked at had a really good horror section, so we were taking out free movies, every day, and it was the best. So we've seen quite a few, although I would say that my top 5 list it's not deep cuts or anything like that. They're all movies that you've surely heard of, but they're my favorites. So, number 5, House of the Devil. This one's at number 5 for me because it is just such a surprising horror movie. The House of the Devil is a throwback 70s sort of possession demon sort of tale that is a bit of a slow burn, but the atmosphere of it and the cinematography of it, like when we first put it in, I remember we kind of looked at each other and we were like, oh, I thought this was new. This is apparently old, because they just did such a killer job at making it seem like it's of the time, like it's of a 70s era sort of horror movie. And there's a jump in there that really every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my, I forgot. It's really, really good. I really love House of the Devil a lot. Number 4, I think, a super underrated one, and I feel like a lot of people overlook it because it does have Liv Tyler in it, and maybe that's like, they're like, it's like, how could that really be that scary? I don't know. But The Strangers is going to be my number 4. I really love The Strangers. I feel like I just love horror movies that make you feel a little tense. I watched this for the first time when I was like 16, 17 years old at home alone at night. And so that was a huge mistake, but it also really worked because this movie has since scared me every time I watch it, because I feel like I'm just like, it's ingrained into me, that fear that I had when I first watched it. It's kind of one of those movies where, the cinematography really plays a big part. And I love cinematography. I'm a photographer for a living. I went to school for cinematography. I just love that so much, and it's done in a way where you're seeing things that our main actors are not seeing, and it's just you want to scream at the screen, and it's just really well done. And the ending of it too is just super haunting and spooky, and kind of makes your skin crawl a little bit. I really love it. I love The Strangers. Number 3, I'm going with REC, R-E-C. This is, they made an American version of this movie, I believe, called Quarantine. I could be wrong on that. I never saw it. I think that's what it was. But this is a Spanish, I believe it's Spanish horror movie that is... I don't really want to tell you a whole lot about it, but all I will say is that when we first watched it, it's the only movie I think I've actually had to put the covers, like, I was like, just in case I need to do a thing. Especially there's a scene towards the end where you're just, again, like, no. It's really good. REC. Check it out. It's really good. I loved it so much. Number 2, I'm going with The Exorcist. That may not come as a surprise. I've mentioned on here quite a few times that I love The Exorcist so much. It's just classic. It's scary. It's the story, the warm, gooey sort of like scary feelings that you get watching horror movies have never been more present than they are in this movie. I just love it so much. And the book is fantastic, and pairing the book with the movie is just a really fun experience because they don't stray too far from each other. So it's it's just a movie that I've always loved. It's a comfort horror movie for me. I watch it all the time. I've got it on VHS, on Blu-ray, and I just, there's something about putting The Exorcist on VHS on a little 13-inch tube TV and just kind of like having a tea and watching it, you're just like, yeah, this is right. This feels good in all ways. So, number 1, bit of a polarizing pick because some people are like, this is not this is like, what? Like, huh? And then other people are like, oh yeah, that's the one. So my number 1 for me is The Blair Witch Project. Now, Blair Witch Project is I feel as though it's sort of a movie where if you were there in the time it was released, it will very likely be in your mind as one of the scariest movies you've ever seen. I feel like if you've just watched it somewhat recently in the last 5 years, even in the last 10 years, it might not have the same punch because it was kind of the first found footage horror movie. And when it first came out, they did such an incredible job with the marketing, and people, like, I know why, me and my friends, we were like, is this real though? Like you couldn't just go on the internet and find out, right? Like, it was just, you were just like, I think, like, I don't know, like, I could, and it felt so real too. The cinematography is so janky and so shaky, and there's no one famous in the movie, so everybody just seems like it could just be anybody, and it just felt very real. There's no boogeyman. There's no, like, monster. You know what I mean? It's just a claustrophobic sort of horror movie where we are stuck with these people lost in the woods. And what is going on? What are these sounds happening at night? What is hitting the tents? And it's, I think it's the best. I think it's my favorite horror movie I've ever seen. I love it so much. If you've not checked it out, please check it out. I think even if you are still just going to watch it now for the first time, I believe you're going to love it. It's the best. I love it, man. So some honorable mentions here I'll do as well are High Tension. This is, or Haute Tension, I think it's like French. It's probably one of the goriest movies I've ever seen. So if you want to see people just like, yeah, That's a good one for that. Midsommar is also great. 824 is just so good for horror movies, right? Midsommar is one of my favorites. I loved it so much. I feel like people either go between like The Witch, Midsommar, Hereditary, like one of those three. Usually people are kind of like, this is my favorite. My favorite's Midsommar. Something about that one. It's so unique, I feel like, it's so bright and colorful. And to have just such a beautiful, bright, colorful horror movie is very unique. And so I love that about it the most. Just daytime, bright, colorful horror movie. It's very jarring, but I think it works really, really well. And I loved it so much. I'm saying that I loved it so much. Martyrs is another one that I enjoyed. However, now that I have children, I feel like I'd have a bit of a tougher time watching that one. It is definitely worth giving it a go. Just be forewarned with all of these movies, really. Like, maybe check out what's going to happen in case you're a little you get a little emotional or squirmy or whatever it is. Just fair warning. Get Out, Jordan Peele, I think, is one of the best directors currently working. I love him so much, and I gotta stop saying I love him so much. Sorry, I'll try to think of different adjectives. But he's Get Out was fantastic. I really liked Nope too. I know a lot of people were kind of meh on Nope. I thought Nope was awesome. The Descent is another one that I think people need to watch. It probably has the best jump scare in any movie ever. And I'm not a big jump scare fan, but this one is perfect. Maybe the most perfect jump scare I've ever seen in my life. And it comes out of nowhere. You are not going to expect it at all. It's the best. And it's just a fantastic movie that is half adventure, half terrifying. And it's worth every minute of your time, I think. Hereditary, I mentioned, really, really good. I do feel as though Hereditary gets really, really overhyped. So don't let the overhype get to you, because it is really, really good, and you'll surely enjoy it if you love horror movies. Toni Collette gives the best performance of any actress in any horror movie, I think, ever. She absolutely destroyed that role, and she's just amazing. So watch it for Toni, watch it for Toni. And then finally, I was just going to mention Wolf Creek, which is an Australian kind of outback sort of horror movie. It's a little cornier, a little kind of more, I don't know, slapsticky, but it's fun. Give Wolf Creek a shot if you want. The main actor in that one is a pretty terrifying dude. So that's my little horror movie roundup. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite horror movies are. I'd love to know. We're getting into the season, dude. It's I'm so ready. I am so ready to start watching horror movies almost every night. And I was going to mention too, my favorite one of this year, which also may not come as a surprise because I have mentioned on here, is Longlegs. I thought Longlegs, the first Omen was really, really good as well. But I think Longlegs just was perfect for me. It's exactly what I want in a horror movie, and it could creep in. It could creep into the top 10 for me for sure. I liked it that much. It really is. I'm going to say it again. The cinematography really drives it home. I feel like if you're going to have a perfect horror movie, you got to have your camera guy on point. And this guy absolutely is just perfect. The way some of the scenes are set up, you are just waiting for things to happen behind them that sometimes happen and sometimes don't. And it's perfect. It's exactly what you want. So, Longlegs. I thought it was great. Nick Cage, bananas. Otherwise I was just gonna mention like a merch update. So I have all of the black Books Are Sick and Spinebreaker shirts in. I got them in a few days ago, so if you ordered that in late July, early August, they are going to be shipped out in the next day or two, so look out for that. Sometimes it will take a couple weeks to get to a few people. Some people get it the next day. I don't really know how it works. It's crazy. I just drop everything off, and then the next day I see people have gotten them, and then 3 weeks later I see people are just getting them. So it's kind of weird, but hopefully you get yours as soon as possible. And I'm going to do another pre-order in sometime in this upcoming week, so look out for that. I will be posting about it over on Insta and the Talk. I'm gonna do, this is the final one for the year that I'm gonna do, just so that people will get it before Christmas. These ones will be shipped out kind of mid to late October, so you'll get them well before Christmas. That's going to be another thing. And I think I'm just going to have everything in there. Maybe a surprise design too. I got to see though. Stephen King is in Toronto right now. I just wanted to mention that real quick. I saw that he's at TIFF. He's seeing The Life of Chuck. I believe it's called The Life of Chuck. And when I saw that he's in Toronto, of course I immediately was like, well, I should just drive to Toronto and just walk around. It's right there. I'm not going to do that, but it's so cool to know that he's right there. Man, love that guy so much. And yeah, this week, so that, yeah, I'm kind of just going to be reading and editing pictures of people. That is my entire life, really, right now. So, my goal and hope is to get through at least one of these by the end of the week. I believe it's probably going to be East of Eden, because again, I'm having a hard time putting that one down, and Wizard and Glass is quite a bit longer, so that one might take me a little bit longer, but still feeling really good about where I'm at for this month. I think I'm going to be able to get to everything I wanted to. And yeah, that's sorry, not like a ton of book stuff this time. I'm sorry, but I hope you. Thanks for watching and thanks for being here. And if you want to join the Sick Book Club / Patreon, I try to really make it as super worthwhile as possible. I post over there a lot. The chats are very active. I try to do 2 or 3 main page posts a week, and it's $5 a month. And I do really try to make it as worth it as possible. So if you want to join up there, the link is down below. No pressure whatsoever. And thanks for being here. This has been week 36 of Books Being Sick. I have been Nick, and hope you enjoy Football Sunday. Football's back. I'm happy about that. Maybe surprising. I love football. So I know what I'm doing for the rest of my day, and